Hello everyone. Today we are from IPG Campus Dato' Razali Ismail going to present our Kppb project, Versatility in 21st Century Education. The course learning outcomes for TSLB3193 multiliteracies comprises CLO2 and CLO3, which are analyze the use of English language in different cultural contexts and technology, and present an examination of multiple perspectives on a current issue through a multimodal media in groups, followed by TSLB3203 multicultural literature comprises CLO3 and CLO4, which are evaluate elements in multicultural literature through selections of short stories, novels, and other media produced by diverse writers, and finally, present orally elements in multicultural literature using multimedia in groups. The interdisciplinary courses which are involved in this Kppb project are TSLB 3193 multiliteracies, which emphasizes multimodal media presentation group work, and TSLB 3203 multicultural literature, which emphasizes analysis of issues, multicultural literature elements from different perspectives. And the big idea of this project is versatility in 21st century education. Followed by Kppb project descriptions. First of all, we organize and participate in a webinar entitled Versatility in 21st Century Education webinar. It was an input sharing program. We gained a lot of knowledge and we used that knowledge to create our multimedia presentation films using digital literacy. And it was also our multicultural literature coursework task. Task assigned: create a group of 2 to 3 members. These incorporate collaboration from 6 C's. Then analyze the elements of multicultural literature, for example, social issues, gender issues, family relationships, belief system, and value system based on 2 films. They are The Journey by Frankie Lee and The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind by William Kamkwamba and Brian Miller. This explores various cultures which are Malaysian and African American. Then finally present the analysis of the film choice using multimedia presentation MMP. This involves the application of digital literacy. Essential questions. First, how do novice teachers face the challenges in 21st century education? Second, what are the skills and knowledge that novice teachers need to fulfill the demands of this 21st century education? Third, how do teachers meet the different needs and abilities of the learners in ESL classrooms? Fourth question, why do teachers need to be creative and innovative? Fifth is, how does critical literacy make teachers versatile?
Thank you, Lushni, for that insightful and informative presentation on the basis of our Kppb project. Now, moving forward, I will continue our presentation with the EEE framework. So, the EEE framework is basically a framework for measuring the extent to which digital tools are integrated in school lessons, proving that it actually aids students' engagement, improvement, and expansion in the pursuit of achieving meaningful learning. So, the main elements or the main E's, the triple E's, are engagement, enhancement, and extension. The first one, engagement, is where students actively engage and participate in active social learning activities focused on the learning goals of the lesson. The second one, enhancement, is where lessons adapt technology in simple yet effective ways to support students and increase their activity and self-responsibility. The final one, extension, is where students experience a natural connection between school and everyday life through the technology used in the classroom. Continuing on, we have the EEE elements present within our Kppb project. Now we have engagement. It is quite evident where participants are engaged in the webinar, asking questions to the fellow panelists regarding the specific multimedia tools readily available at their disposal. Now we have enhancement, where students are shown to adapt and apply the knowledge learned during the webinar to enhance their Kppb coursework of the subject multicultural literature and also multiliteracies. And finally, we have extension, where students become capable of conveying complex information of the real world through technology. This is quite evident when we see students able to analyze and dissect the 5 multicultural literature elements of the movie The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind and The Journey and translate it into a multimedia presentation. Now moving forward, we have the 3R framework, or the rigor, relevance, and relationship framework. So the rigor relevance framework is basically a guide to focusing resources to increase student performance. Now basically the Kppb project, our Kppb project in specifically, is placed in the B quadrant of application, achieving the 3rd and 4th level of the knowledge taxonomy and application model respectively. Now, the reason being why it was placed at the 3rd level of knowledge taxonomy was because students had to only apply the knowledge they have learned in the webinar to their coursework. They did not have to evaluate or create any type of software or tools for the coursework. Now, the reason why it was put at the 4th level of the model application is because students had to only solve predictable problems within the real world setting. This is in tune with what they had to do with their coursework. So the 6 C's gained from the Kppb project is the first C being character, was where students were able to learn how to deep learn, leveraging digital, gain grit, tenacity, perseverance, and resilience, and finally gain self-regulation and responsibility for learning. The second one, citizenship, was where students were able to leverage digitally and gain an understanding of diverse values and worldviews. The third one, collaboration, was where students were able to work interdependently as a team, gain interpersonal and team-related skills, leveraging digital, and manage team dynamics and challenges. Now, the fourth one, communication, was where students were able to form coherent communication using a range of communication modes. Secondly, communication designed for particular audiences. And finally, reflection on and use of the process of learning to further develop and improve communication. The third one, creativity, was where students were able to ask the right inquiry questions, leveraging digital and leadership for action. And finally, critical learning, where students were able to evaluate information and arguments, form meaningful and knowledge construction, leveraging digital and collaborative knowledge construction.
Now, I am Aino Mardia, who will be continuing this presentation by answering all 5 EQ questions based on 3 main ideas, which are skills and knowledge acquired, challenges, and recommendation. Based on this Kppb program, we got to empower our soft skills such as communication, problem solving, decision making, organizational, and teamwork. We acquired all of the soft skills from the starting of the webinar program, where we need to search and communicate with students from other classes, lecturers in charge, and the guest speaker. We also learned to align the learning content learned in multicultural literature with the implementation or adaptation of technology learned in multiliteracies. Speaking of creative and innovative context, this Kppb program really lines learning content in an enjoyable way. By this means, we're not only watching movies, writing notes, and learning theoretical facts about technologies in both subjects. However, we apply the technology used in multiliteracy with multicultural literature as in the context in delivering ideas. Eventually, this Kppb task does vanish one-size-fits-all teaching approach, which means the evaluation at the end of the learning program is not only based on writing aspects. However, it is also measured in communication and creativity skills. So this is the product we've come up with for this Kppb task. It is a Google site where you can see all of the details of this task and students' videos by scanning the QR code provided. The first challenge is to make the right use of technologies, where from this Kppb task, we got to learn how multimedia presentation, especially Canva and CapCut used. Secondly, this Kppb task challenge is to spread global awareness. As from the movie The Journey, we got to raise awareness about mixed marriage and multicultural society in Malaysia. While from the movie The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, we are able to raise awareness about hunger issue, education opportunity, and sacrification in Malawi. Eventually, both of these challenges, which are making the right use of technologies and raising global awareness, can create a new challenge, which is conveying holistic learning. By this means, students are not only learning about multicultural society around the world, however, they learn to convey the message to the world by creating content via technologies learned in multiliteracies. Here comes to the recommendation part of our Kppb task. The recommendation is to compile multiculturalism education with the help of multiple modalities in order to reach ESL students' different needs in education. For instance, teacher can create a virtual tour and make heritage documentation. At this time, we've come to the end of our presentation. So I'll finish out by saying thank you for your attention.